Alright everyone, hello and welcome back to Kerbalistic Episode 3. Today we are back with the Moon Explorer. Yeah, this is the probe that died because it ran out of electric charge last episode. But miraculously it has electric charge right now, so we're going to attempt to deorbit it. Yeah, so it turns out if you don't have those fuel cells set to dump the excess water that they produce, then they won't actually produce the electric charge because they don't know where to put the water. So that's exactly what happens, and for some reason there's a bit of juice left in the battery when I loaded back into this game. And I configured the fuel cell properly and it was working just fine. So I figured I'd try and bring it back and complete the Fly-by the Moon contract and bring your spacecraft successfully home. So that's what I was trying to do here. But it is kind of impossible to do with the fuel on board and the limited amount of communications we have. So we'll have to do that again when we have like a comm network, or we'll just have to send a Kerbal mission to a moon or get creative. So we're launching another Moon Explorer here. We're going to be launching, this episode is going to be all about pretty much launching exploration missions to the moon. That's what this episode's kind of about. And you may have noticed it's actually run a bit long too. I didn't realize how much footage I actually recorded for this, but this is jam-packed with moon missions. So, yep, that's what we're doing. We're sending stuff to the moon. This one gets pretty far. We're just sending back some science that we didn't get before and just pushing our way onto the moon. We actually get a nice gravity assist when we do this that just kind of throws us back on a free return trajectory, but unfortunately that spacecraft failed. I believe the battery short-circuited on that or something, but it was not able to get back. So we're launching another Moon Explorer satellite. Hopefully this time it will succeed. There's a lot of failures in this episode, just gonna put that out there. The crash, I believe it is, that's the mod that adds in failures, is just relentless. So hopefully we can overcome that. We have to add a lot of redundancy inside our crafts in order to survive in the depths of space. So here we are, launching ourselves into orbit again. Another perfect launch until the engine fails. So not so perfect anymore, unfortunately. Actually, you know what? That craft that I just totally said that died was not dead, but now it's dead. Yeah, we were just switching over to the other one to launch because it was building while this one was launching. And when I come back to this, then it died. So now this is completely dead in the water, and we don't quite actually get a free return trajectory on this one. So not a great set of missions there. So I decided to do the boldest mission yet so far, and that is to send Jebediah Kerman screaming towards the moon for the first ever Kerbal flyby of the moon. So it's going to be a very dangerous mission. A lot can go wrong. All of our missions have gone wrong so far, and we're just really going to have to take a bold step here and get Jebediah out to the moon, hopefully, and complete the contracts. We do have a liquid fuel leak on one of the lower fuel tanks in the first stage, but fortunately it's not too much of a concern since we're already pretty high up, and it doesn't in turn give us a loss of delta V, a substantial loss of delta V. The upper stage is that really small engine, so TWR is really bad, and we actually fall back into the atmosphere a bit, but fortunately we just about have enough fuel to get to the moon. So we do this flyby, and you can see how close our margins were here. That's when I noticed my first, I guess, mistake. I didn't include any shielding for the capsule, so when we pass through the radiation belt, Jebediah gets a healthy dose of radiation yet again, bringing his lifetime radiation up to 4% total capacity, I guess. So he did have a bit of radiation there, but it's not too bad. If we had included shielding, then I think it would have weighed down the craft too much, where we would not have been able to complete this mission. We do get a free return flyby here, and it looks all good as long as nothing else fails. We should be able to make it back just safe. So passing through the radiation belt yet again, giving Jebediah his free x-rays, and he is now well on his way to getting back. I decided to angle the upper stage down so to get out of the way while I re-enter, but I realized I don't have any RCS thrusters up top, so it does shake around a little worryingly. but it is all safe, I guess, for Jebediah. It doesn't tip over and blow up the whole capsule. We fall rather close to the KSC, but unfortunately it's on the mountain, so it's a little nerve-wracking landing here. And we are going to come down at a healthy 10 meters per second too, so it's going to smash that heat shield, and we do get a little lucky and it orients itself right up, so we don't tumble down to the mountain to our death. So we got very lucky with that mission. A lot of stuff that we were crossing our fingers to go right did indeed go right, so we got very lucky. Also, we got a little bit of money because it looks like some debris actually just shot itself out of the solar system from a Mun assist, I guess. So that's awesome, and some of our probes also got thrown onto those crazy orbits. So yeah, free money, I'll take it. Anyways, we are back with a new iteration of Mun exploring satellites. This time we've included a heat shield on the front of the spacecraft. Yeah, we're going to try and return this unmanned and complete the return from Mun contract. Well, we actually already did that. I'm taking on a new contract here, which is orbit the Mun and then return from an orbit from the Mun. So that's what this craft aims to do. We're going to fly out, orbit, and then come back with the remaining fuel, and hopefully the heat shield will protect us. We do have a parachute on ourselves to slow us down, and honestly everything should work out. It's our most advanced spacecraft yet. We've got solar panels, we've got science experiments, we've got the whole shebang. We did have a short circuit on the probe core, unfortunately, and I believe the other battery on the spacecraft short circuits a little later too, so that thing becomes dead in the water and it is unable to complete its mission. But fortunately we have a lot of these satellites cooking up in the VAB. We're gonna have no shortage of launching these guys, so we're gonna just send the next one off on its way. I believe this is Mun Explorer 6, I could be mistaken though. It might be 7, but it's basically the same spacecraft, just sending its way up to the Mun. So yeah, there we go, orienting the spacecraft normal, and that should give the solar panels just enough sunlight to keep this thing alive. And it does look like it's 7, Mun Explorer 7, so we go retrograde, we burn, we get into an orbit of the Mun, completing the first part of the contract. So great news there, getting our money's worth, and we're just going to orbit the Mun until our trajectory is lined up for a return back to Kerbin, because we want to save as much fuel as we can for slowing down. So everything is going great. Here's some great shots of us orbiting the Mun, the first orbit of another celestial body in the game. Pretty big achievement. And we come around now and we're ready to begin our burn back home. So we're just going to burn prograde here, and that should be enough to get us back. We're going to orientate our solar panels towards the sun. We do get obscured by the Mun for a brief amount of time, but fortunately it doesn't kill our batteries. We do lose our engine, but again, this thing has RCS, so we have some redundancy in engine management. So here we are, making our correction burn, and we will indeed be coming back to Kerbin, whether it's going to be in one piece or not. I hope it's going to be in one piece, because completing that contract will net us a lot of money, and that is something I desperately need right now. Because I really want to upgrade the VAB so we have all the parts in the world to build crazy spacecraft that we want. But as you can see, it looks like this thing likes to go backwards through the atmosphere. I actually am crossing my fingers that a piece of this does survive, but it looks like it's coming down too hard and it hits the water, so it is gone, unfortunately. So this is attempt number 3 of this spacecraft. We included a decoupler at the top that'll decouple, and hopefully that part will be aerodynamically stable and make its way back to the surface. So we just need to repeat the same thing that we've been doing, and if that works out, then we'll be able to collect the money that we need. Because yeah, again, we need that VAB pretty bad, because we want to go other places and complete that 30-day Kerbal endurance record that we picked up on the last episode, but we haven't been able to do yet. So getting all the science we can, getting all the money we can, very important. This time, everything goes great, but my trajectory is a little too close to the Mun, and we don't have the communication to slow down, so this thing becomes a lunar impactor, and we unfortunately crash on the Mun. So a bit unfortunate there, but we do again have another one of these ready to go. Again, this is all about Mun exploration this episode, just sending as many spacecraft as we can. And I believe this is the last unmanned exploration mission I've sent to the Mun. Same design as last time, and I think it should work. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. We're getting our trajectory all lined up here, and the engine fails. So, yeah, crash becoming very annoying. We do have some RCS. I attempt to slow down into an orbit. I think it's enough to slow down into orbit, but we actually are not quite there. Yeah, we need to patch conics and mission planning capability so we can send these craft more reliably, because I'm just really eyeballing everything right now, so it's a very difficult mission to pull off, especially with the hardware failure mod that we have installed too. But anyway, we are going to attempt the next most dangerous mission with Valentina Kerman. Yeah, she's going to try and complete what we haven't been able to complete before with the Mun Explorer series. We are sending up Valentina to orbit the Mun herself and go back home. We know the capsule works. We've tested the tanks and the upper engines and everything. They should perform well, but there's only one way to find out. So we launch into a orbit here and go straight out to the Mun. And by the way, these spacecraft, the first one that Jebediah flew out to the Mun and this one are a part of the new Perception program, because we are going to hopefully have a new perception here going up to the Mun, because nothing has really been seen like Valentina's seeing it. No one has ever laid eyes this close to the Mun. Also, you may notice in the background, I accidentally burned into the orbit of one of the Mun Explorer satellites and not the Mun, so yeah, we're gonna need to be a little wasteful with our Delta V and make it all the way up to the Mun. Fortunately, it works out for us. We just need to get into our orbit now. So yes, we get into orbit. I don't actually know when I get into orbit. I think that's it, but I want to just be extra sure so I don't have to send another one of these missions, risking another Kerbal life. And I think that does it. So we go back, burn prograde, and just fall back down to the planet. Again, no shielding on this. It looks like I could have included it, but I wanted all the Delta V I could to make sure that this thing actually succeeded. So we are coming back. Everything looks great. And Valentina Kerman pulling off another successful mission. I'm actually really surprised that none of our guys have died at this point. Everything is so unreliable in our program, and we pulled off so many risky maneuvers. It's kind of a miracle no one has unfortunately exploded or anything, so we're very fortunate that happens. We have a very nice re-entry, almost skip off the atmosphere, but it turns out very graceful for Valentina Kerman. We pull our reserve chute, which we included this time, and make it down to the surface. Now, enough Mun exploration for the episode. We are going to study Kerbin yet again. We are launching a ScanSat satellite. I called this one the PASS satellite. This is the Planetary Altimeter Surveying Satellite. So yes, it's got a radar altimeter and it's going to study the elevation of the planet. We got a lot of solar panels on there, and we're just gonna push our way up into a polar orbit, and hopefully everything goes well for this little satellite. It does run into some power issues, unfortunately, but luckily when I go back to the KSC, it's able to kind of just scan everything. I like to think of this as just the engineer simulating turning on and off the altimeter whenever it's dark outside. So yeah, it actually ends up working a-okay. And we move on to our next satellite, which is the Kerbin Imager. So basically the same thing, except it's just taking colored pictures of the surface. So really cool stuff. That actually gets into orbit with solar panels all on one side, so we don't run into the same power issues as we did as the last satellite. It's just going to orientate itself towards the sun the whole time, and it's going to have even more power to work with. So no power issues this time, and everything works great. We get both of those ScanSat contracts complete, and that wraps up the episode for today. Guys, I know this was a long one, but I do appreciate you for watching. I can't wait to see you guys in the next episode of Kerbalistic. Have a good one. Take care, guys.